Hi Stephanie, this is your quick video tutorial on how to wash your wool. So if you have a wool cover that has already been lanolized, it's been in use, this is the simple quick way to wash, is to fill your sink with warm water, not real warm, not real cold, just kind of body temperature water, and then you want to use a wool soap like this one. And the cool thing about this one is it says it's no rinse, so you actually don't even have to rinse it out. You just have to soak your covers. Not that hard. So what you would do is you would have your sink full of water, you have the soap in it, and then you put the wool in. You don't want to put the wool in and have the water run all over it, because then that might agitate the fibers a little bit and make it felt. Now you'll see this one cover that I have, I don't know if you can see, there's a little band there that looks a little felted. That can happen over time. That's just the friction of being up against the diaper and being worn, and you know, my baby is a belly sleeper. That happens. It helps make them a little more bulletproof. It really shouldn't shrink it by much if it happens just a little bit. So don't stress out if you see it happening a little bit. Anyway, you would just set that in there. Kind of gently push it down. I don't know if you noticed, I also flipped it inside out. I think that helps get it a little bit cleaner on the inside and makes it easier to lanolize. So you just let it sit like that. I let it sit for about 20 minutes. Then you would very gently pull it out of the water, kind of hold it up against the side of the sink and press the water out without really wringing it. And then you would take it over to your towel. Lay it out on your towel. You wrap it all up in the towel, and I'll show you that better later when we do the lanolizing. And you know, you roll it all up, you step on it, you press as much water out of it as you can, and then you'd be ready to let it hang dry or go ahead and put a little lanolizing on it. For in-between washes, the sprays, like this is a lanolin spray, this works just fine. And you would just spray it on. You know, on here you can kind of see it looks like it's just hanging up on the fuzz. So I'll just kind of, you know, pat that down in there a little bit. And make sure you spray it really well, and then you would spray the wet zone. Like wherever your baby's wet zone is, really, really well. Just kind of get that in there, and then just lay this flat. You don't really want to hang it like on a hanger or hang it up. You know, you don't want to really do that, because wool holds so much water. It's going to be so heavy, you'll get it, it'll start to stretch out. So you want to lay it flat, or lay it on a couple bars of a drying rack. If you have, you know, a nice flat drying rack, or just lay it out on a towel, or and let it dry. And if you actually leave it on a towel to dry, you want to flip it over like every 12 hours or so, and then flip it right side out and give it a little more time right side out. So that's a quick wash for you. Now the first time you use your wool covers, a lot of times they're going to need to be lanolized in a big way, not just a little way. And then sometimes your lanolin just kind of wears out over time, and you'll need to re-lanolize really, really well. So in order to do that, what we have, I have a cup here. I have squirted a little bit of your boob cream lanolin in there. You know, pure lanolin. We're going to put a little bit of this wool wash in there, and that just helps to emulsify the lanolin. You don't need a lot. That's probably more than I needed. And then you're going to put really, really hot water in there. If I can do it without spilling. And the whole idea is to melt this lanolin that's in here. And just take a little spoon or something and stir that around. You know, it'll float. You'll see like little droplets of it starting to float. Alright. See, having that soap in there just makes it kind of, if you didn't have the soap in there, you would see it all just floating on the top. This kind of makes it blend in with the water, mix in a little bit better. So what you would do with this now is pour it in your sink. And then you add your diaper covers. We have this one. I'm going to go ahead and do him good since I have everything ready. And that one. And I'm just going to push them down in the water. You can let this sit all night if you want to. You can just let it sit for 20 minutes if you want to. There really isn't, say, a set time you have to pull them out by, because the water is tepid. It's not really hot. It's not really cold. If you have really cold water or really hot water, that's going to start to felt things. So I'm just going to let them sit for a little bit. And then after a little while, sometimes I'll start pulling them out and I'll notice I'll start seeing like little clumps of lanolin forming on them. I don't know if that's usually because I start with warmer water than this or not, but I'm just gonna let them sit for a little bit and I'll come back. I'll come back in a few minutes and I might flip them over. And then, you know, let them sit for a few minutes longer and then we'll pull them out. Okay, so our diapers have been in there about 20 minutes, and really you can leave them longer, especially if it's the first time that you are doing a heavy-duty lanolizing. I don't know if you'll notice, let me kind of see if I can get in there. I don't know if you can see, but the water actually looks maybe a little scuzzy, kind of, with a film floating on top. That's your lanolin, so don't worry about the fact that the water looks a little funky, because it's not funky, it's just the lanolin. Another thing you'll notice is when you stick your hands in, you will definitely feel the lanolin on your hands, and you'll definitely feel it on the diaper cover. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull these out, so I'm going to just very carefully kind of pull it up against the side. Use the side to kind of help gently push the water out, squeeze the water out a little bit. And then we're going to put it over here on the towel. Just lay it out. In this case, I'll go ahead and start folding it up or rolling it up. And now I'm going to get my other cover. And you'll notice I didn't go ahead and pull all the water out of the sink yet. And that's just because you don't want water motion on top of your wool. You want to treat it very carefully, but it's not hard to do. Okay. Now we're going to get this one all laid out. And we're going to keep, I guess I'll throw the sides in. And so I'll just roll these all up. Now, if it is the very first time you are lanolizing a cover, one lanolizing like that might not be enough. So here, what am I doing? I'm standing on the towel, and that's going to help press out the water. Like I was saying, one lanolizing might not be quite enough for a brand spanking new diaper cover. In which case, you know, I do the lanolization once, maybe wear it a couple of times, kind of see how it goes. and then lanolize it again. And you could tell, like, if it's leaking or if it's getting really, really saturated, maybe it needs to have a little more lanolin on it. So now our towel is sopping wet and our covers aren't so bad. And we can pick them up and lay them down on top of our drying rack. And we're all done. Easy peasy.